Have you been thinking about getting a new post-processing software, even switching away from monthly subscriptions that, not to name any names, but software companies that make you pay monthly subscriptions for post-processing software? Have you been thinking about switching away from those things? Well, in this video, I'm gonna be giving my final review of Luminar 3 coming up. Hey, what's up guys, and welcome into the channel where I post weekly videos that are gonna help you improve your landscape photography through in-field and post-processing tutorials and gear reviews. So if you're into landscape photography at all, consider subscribing to this channel. Now, Luminar 3 has been out a few months now, and I've had some ways of messing around with it, editing my photos, really using the software and all of the tools that it has available to me as a landscape photographer. Now, I recently made a video as to why I was switching to Luminar for my post-processing that you can watch right here. But I also recently made a video when Luminar 3 first came out, giving my first impressions on what it can do for you as a landscape photographer. You can watch that video right here. I'll link both videos below in the video description, as well as a link to Luminar 3 for you guys to check out if you really like what you see here or are interested in learning more about Luminar 3. Again, that's linked below in the video description. But what are the final results? It's fun to get excited about a software when it comes out for the first time, but what happens after a few months, after that excitement wears off? Is it still a good selection for you as a landscape photographer? And my final review for Luminar really starts out as yes, it continues to help me produce better landscape photos. We're gonna take you through a couple lists in this video on pros and cons that I've found in the last few months of using Luminar 3 for my landscape photography. So first up on the pros list, it's an absolutely beautiful design. When you pull it up and you import all of your photos, you're gonna see a beautiful library that you have to look through of all of the images that you've shot. It's a really easy way to find images, find photos that you love, and it's a really just beautiful design. I don't like tiling on my libraries and tiles of my images that I have to sort through. I like how Luminar does a great job of making your photos look presentable, even in post-processing software when they may not even be done yet, but making them look presentable like you would see in a gallery online. So you have vertical shots represented vertically and landscape shots represented in landscape view. And I really like that. It helps me visualize how these were shot in the field and then go through them. And it's also organized beautifully and gives you enough tools as a landscape photographer to organize your photos the best way possible. You can do things like set star ratings on each photo. You can like and make a favorite photo by clicking the little heart. And then over here, you have options like favorites. What are my favorite photos? You can seclude those out by looking at that. You can seclude things out by looking at the star rating and organizing these the best way possible, the way you want to see them. Maybe you go out and you shoot hundreds of photos in a time lapse and you just want to see the best ones. Just hit a 5-star rating or the heart to favorite an image. It's a really good way to organize your photos and see the best ones that you shot in the field. I've loved doing that with my landscapes using Luminar 3 for the first few months. So we've been through beautiful design and easy organization. Top two things on my list for Luminar 3, Luminar with libraries that they tout, the libraries feature. This is the first time it's come out in a Luminar software and I've loved it so far. Number three thing, it's really easy to understand and get started. Maybe this is your first software that you use for post-processing. It's really easy to bring it up on your screen and be like, oh, so this is my image. I'll double click this and now what do? Oh, I'm in the library. Maybe I'll go to edit and see what that has. Maybe I'll have to add a workspace and add landscape. Oh, these are all the edits that are specific to landscape. So it's really user-friendly and allows you to see all of your edits at one time and see all the possibilities. It also has looks that you can add in here too. You can go to view and you can go to show looks panel and bring that up. These are all the edits that you can make for your landscape photography. And just one click, like I can add a rich skies edit to this and instantly impact my photo in that way. So really easy ways of starting out in your post-processing or switching software and completely learning a new software and figuring all of those little tweaks out of where you need to go and what you need to learn. Luminar 3 makes it really easy to do that. And then number 4, they've really done a good job of improving speed. Now, I will admit when it first came out, it lacked in speed a little bit, and that was one of the main complaints. But now you can easily make edits to your images and they instantly show up just as fast as any other post-processing software. They've improved the speed with their updates so far, and I highly expect them to keep doing that. They've shown they're going to do that in just the first few months, updating and releasing updates for users for free. Actually, they do free updates for all their users, and it shows that they're listening to their users. That's number 5 on my list. They're listening to people of what they want, problems they're having through their customer service, and listening to what photographers want. Photographers want specific things in post-processing. Different genres want specific things. And I feel like Luminar has done a really good job of listening to that and providing those things in their updates that photographers want. They showed in implementing the libraries feature of that's what people wanted. They delivered on that, and they did it in a big way, creating a beautiful feature that you can use for organizing your landscapes. And then number 6, through those edits, like making professional results. Like I made professional results in my images. Yes, I'm a professional landscape photographer, but I even went back through images that I had edited with Lightroom and Photoshop and implemented some changes that I learned to do in Luminar to produce these images that you're seeing right now. Make them better, improve the photos, go back to those files and increase the quality of them to produce better landscape images. So that opportunity is there too. Are you unhappy with some of your old images? Well, it's easy to go back and provide that boost that Luminar 3 gives you as a landscape photographer too. Okay, so those are all the pros, and that's great, but there are some things that I think Luminar 3 can improve on in future improvements, future updates, and even future software releases. And really there are 3 big ways that I think they can do that. Number 1 way is a way to easily merge HDR and pano images in Luminar specifically. Now I know Skylum Software, who makes Luminar 3, also has Aurora HDR, which you can use to make HDR images, but I want to see like a plugin that's really easy to use in the infrastructure of Luminar 3 that allows you to use that software intertwined with Luminar 3, using Aurora HDR and Luminar 3 intertwined all the time, and make it really easy to find and use like they've done with Luminar 3. I think it's definitely possible for you to do that, but I also want to see a panorama merge option like Lightroom has to make it really easy to take several images that you've shot in a sequence of a pano and then merge all of those together for a high quality panorama image to edit within Luminar as well. I think it's possible. I hope they do it in the future as well. Number 2 thing, I want to see more defined and exact selections in Luminar 3 to allow me to merge exposures. And these things are for like night photography, when you merge a longer exposure that you did for a foreground and a shorter exposure that you did for the sky, and easily merge those together. You can do that right now in Luminar 3. But the lines and the selections aren't exact. You're using a paintbrush and just doing it by hand. It's much more exact in Photoshop, and I think until Luminar 3 implements things like that and more selectable objects and more defined selections, people are going to continue using Photoshop to create like exact photo exposure blends, and especially night photography, but also like when you're creating dynamic range images, you can do that too, and merging exposures together. I really hope they do that in the future. And then lastly, number 3, and this may be really going way out there because Lightroom can't even do this, but a way to easily focus stack your images. Now you can do this by merging different photos together, but again, that selection process isn't exact. You have to continue using Photoshop to get exact selections and masks to do that blending and do that focus stacking and blending focuses together and aligning your images together to be sure they're tack sharp all the way through. I want to see that in Luminar 3. I want to easily be able to go like select one image and the last one and just hit focus stack and be done with it. I want to see that in Luminar 3 as well. So I think that's the list for me. These are huge improvements that they've made to Luminar 2018, updating to Luminar 3, and then even the updates that have come out after they've continued to make the updates to Luminar 3 has been amazing. I love using Luminar 3 for my landscape photography and think that it should be a very solid option, and I even recommend it if you're thinking about switching away from other softwares. Again, Luminar 3 is linked below in the video description for you to check out. This is my final review. Pros, cons, what you can expect, what you might find a little bit lacking here, but overall, a good recommendation for Luminar 3 if you want to easily start improving your photos and creating very high quality results through post-processing. Hey guys, if you want to continue watching videos from this channel and maybe even learning a little bit more about Luminar 3, click or tap your screen right here for this playlist on how to use editing tools in Luminar 3. If you want to watch a different video from this channel, click or tap your screen right here. If you want to easily subscribe to this channel, click or tap your screen right here. Thanks so much guys, keep shooting.